actions which have included severe restrictions on women's education, public presence and employment, as well as mandates requiring women to cover their faces and remain silent in public. Amid calls from local and international organizations to end the ongoing airstrikes on southern Lebanon, the Israeli army continues to target more residential areas, killing and wounding civilians. More details in the following report.
The recent escalation between Israel and Hezbollah in Lebanon, which intensified in late September 2024, has led to severe casualties and displacement. The conflict was primarily triggered by the ongoing Israeli-Hamas war, which began in October 2023. According to the Lebanese health minister, Israeli airstrikes across Lebanon have killed over 1,300 people, including women and children, and injured more than 7,000. Local and international media outlets have confirmed that the ongoing strikes also resulted in significant damage to civilian infrastructure, prompting tens of thousands of Lebanese to flee, with some reports estimating over 100,000 displaced. International organizations, including Human Rights Watch, warned Wednesday that Israeli airstrikes in Lebanon are placing civilians at grave risk of harm, calling for an international investigation into the recent hostilities in Lebanon. The International Organization for Migration reported on Wednesday that more than 90,530 additional people have been displaced in Lebanon since Monday due to the heavy Israeli airstrikes on several areas amid the ongoing escalation. In Holy Karbala, following the call of the supreme religious authorities to assist the affected people of Lebanon, and as part of the humanitarian campaigns, the Hotels and Tourist Restaurants Association has announced its readiness to host Lebanese families displaced by the ongoing Israeli aggression. The association told Shia Waves agency that it is planning to coordinate with relevant authorities to ensure the provision of accommodation and essential services, reaffirming the strong bonds between the Iraqi and Lebanese people. It should be mentioned that the office of the Supreme Religious Authority, Grand Ayatollah Sayyid Sadiq Husseini Shirazi, has issued a statement permitting the allocation of funds from the Imam's share to support believers in southern Lebanon. This is Ali Al-Hadi reporting for Shia Waves.
Thank you for that report, Ali Al-Hadi. Our prayers and thoughts are with the people of Lebanon. Passengers at several major UK rail stations faced a cybersecurity breach on Wednesday, with Islamophobic messages appearing on public Wi-Fi login pages. The incident affected 19 stations, including Manchester Piccadilly, Birmingham New Street and 11 key stations in London, excluding St Pancras Network Rail, responded by suspending Wi-Fi access at all impacted locations to address the breach. The public Wi-Fi service, operated by a third-party contractor, is designed to function independently and does not collect personal data. A spokesperson for Network Rail confirmed that the situation was quickly managed and is under investigation, stating, "Once our final security checks are completed, we anticipate the service will be restored by the weekend." Let's take a look back at today's main headlines. Historic legal action against Taliban for gender discrimination. More than 1,300 martyred and 7,000 injured in ongoing Israeli airstrikes on southern Lebanon. Cyber attack targets public Wi-Fi at UK rail stations to spread Islamophobic messages. Also, tonight, Switzerland, Sweden and the US lead in global innovation. As global demand for minerals rises, advocacy groups in Africa are urging stronger protections for women and children laborers in the mining industry. Women in Mining Africa organized a virtual meeting to promote gender equity and social justice, with founder Comfort Asokoro Ogaji emphasizing the need for equal access to resources and leadership roles. Women comprise 30% of the artisanal and small-scale mining (ASM) workforce, but often face barriers, including restricted access to mines and lower pay. The International Institute for Sustainable Development highlights that women's contributions are frequently overshadowed by men, resulting in unequal participation. The World Bank recent report at the 2024 Mining in Adaber conference called for gender-focused legislation and changes to property laws that hinder women's land ownership and access to resources. Advocates stress the importance of including marginalized voices in decision-making to ensure equitable distribution of mining benefits across the continent. And now we continue with some short news. At least 46 people, including 37 children, drowned during the Jitiya Parv Hindu festival in Bihar, India, as they bathed in rivers and ponds swollen by recent flooding. The local officials reported that the drownings occurred across 15 districts as devotees celebrated the festival, which is observed by mothers for their children's well-being. Ignoring dangerous water levels, many participants faced tragic consequences. The Bihar government announced compensation for the victims' families, recalling a similar incident last year where 22 people drowned. Iraqi Interior Minister Abdul Emir al-Shimari inaugurated a new 60-kilometer stretch of security wall along the Iraqi-Syrian border. This addition extends the existing barrier, bringing the total length to 200 kilometers. The wall is constructed in the highly dangerous Tarfawi area, located south of the Rabia district in Mosul Governorate, marking a significant step in border security. OpenAI is reportedly moving towards becoming a for-profit benefit corporation, following the recent departures of key executives, including Chief Technology Officer Mira Murati. The San Francisco-based company is seeking $6.5 billion in new funding and plans to change its corporate structure, which would allow it to operate without the oversight of its non-profit board. Despite these charges, OpenAI stated that its non-profit entity will continue to exist, emphasizing its commitment to building AI for the public good. CEO Sam Altman clarified that the leadership changes are not linked to the restructuring, describing them as a natural transition. OpenAI, founded as a non-profit in 2015, introduced a capped profit subsidiary in 2019 with Microsoft as a major investor. The new structure could lead to a valuation of $150 billion, attracting the potential investors like Apple and Nvidia. Scientists at the High Magnetic Field Laboratory of Hefei Institute of Physical Science, Chinese Academy of Sciences, have achieved a breakthrough by developing the world's strongest resistive magnet, producing a steady magnetic field of 42 Tesla. This new magnet surpasses the previous record of 41.4 Tesla, set by the US National High Magnetic Laboratory in 2017. Operating at a power supply of 32.3 megawatts, the innovation stems from enhanced structural design and manufacturing processes. Resistive magnets made from common metals like copper offer flexible control but are heat sensitive. The new magnet is expected to advance research across various technological fields and deepen understanding of electromagnetism. During a UN General Assembly meeting, world leaders pledged to reduce deaths linked to antimicrobial resistance, AMR, by 10% by 2030. AMR, which causes pathogens to evolve and resist existing treatments, is responsible for approximately 4.7 million deaths annually, with projections reaching 8.2 million by 2050 if left unaddressed. The declaration, signed by 193 member states, emphasizes the need for coordinated action across various sectors, including healthcare, agriculture, and environmental protection. The declaration also calls for the establishment of an independent panel by the World Health Organization and other organizations to provide scientific support for the AMR strategies and to update a global action plan by 2026. Financial assistance for poorer nations facing severe AMR challenges is also prioritized, signaling a unified commitment to combat this escalating global threat. According to the World Intellectual Property Organization, Switzerland, Sweden, the US, Singapore and Britain possesses the world's most innovative economies. Meanwhile, Turkey, China, India, Vietnam and the Philippines are recognized as the fastest climbers over the past decade. Global Innovation Index 2024 indicates a decline in venture capital activity, R&D funding, and other investment indicators, with R&D expenditures and scientific publications decreasing in 2023. Darren Tang, head, noted that despite these declines, technological progress remains robust, particularly in health-related fields like genome sequencing, computing power, and electric batteries. The report highlights a significant softening in innovation investments following a boom from 2020 to 2022, influenced by higher interest rates and a 40% drop in venture capital funding. While technology adoption has deepened in areas like 5G, robotics and electric vehicles, the growth of green technologies has lagged behind the decade's average. The top 5 science and technology clusters are in East Asia, with Tokyo, Yokohama being the largest globally. Cambridge, UK ranks as the most S&T intensive cluster relative to population density. We have reached the end of today's Shia Waves news. Let's remind our dear viewers of today's main headlines. Historic legal action against Taliban for gender discrimination. More than 1,300 martyred, 7,000 injured in ongoing Israeli airstrikes on southern Lebanon. Cyber attack targets public Wi-Fi at UK rail stations to spread Islamophobic messages. Advocates call for protection of women and children in Africa's mining sector. Switzerland, Sweden and the US lead in global innovation. You can view the latest news on our Shia Waves website, and you can send news of your city or country to be published on a news agency. Contact the numbers at the bottom of the screen. Thank you all for watching. We pray to Allah Almighty to hasten the reappearance of the Master of our time. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
الرحمن الرحيم اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. السلام عليك يا وارث آدم صفوة الله. السلام عليك يا وارث نوح نبي الله. السلام عليك يا وارث إبراهيم خليل الله. السلام عليك يا وارث موسى كليم الله. السلام عليك يا وارث عيسى روح الله. السلام عليك يا وارث محمد حبيب الله. السلام عليك يا وارث أمير المؤمنين ولي الله. السلام عليك يا ابن محمد المصطفى. السلام عليك يا ابن علي المرتضى. السلام